Okay, so today we are diving into something pretty wild.
Definitely wild.
We're talking Trump,
Right.
crypto, and the 2024 election.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. We've got a stack of articles here, and they all cover his latest move, which is launching a DeFi platform. And the timing of this is, well, interesting to say the least. He launches this thing just one day after that second assassination attempt. What do you make of that?
Yeah, the timing is certainly,
Yeah.
it raises some eyebrows, right? Makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes.
Right. Especially because it wasn't that long ago Trump was calling Bitcoin a scam.
Yeah.
And now he's Mr. Decentralization, Financial Freedom.
Yeah, and yet his platform, World Liberty Financial, it's anything but decentralized when you really dig in.
Okay, so let's break this down for our listeners. World Liberty Financial, what is it?
At its core, it's about borrowing and lending on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
So pretty standard DeFi stuff, but
Okay.
it's the token.
The token, yeah.
It's the token distribution that's really noteworthy, yeah.
So their token, WLFI,
WLFI.
instead of doing like a big public sale, which a lot of DeFi platforms do, World Liberty Financial is only letting accredited investors in the U.S. buy in. And for those who maybe aren't familiar with that term, that means people who meet certain income or net worth requirements, which is set by the SEC. So it's a very specific, very exclusive group.
It is. And that exclusivity, I think, really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. So by focusing on these accredited investors, maybe unintentionally, but I think most likely intentionally,
Right.
Trump is narrowing down his potential user base to a very specific demographic.
So you're saying it's like DeFi, but with a velvet rope.
Exactly. And it really begs the question, how committed is this platform to decentralization? Because that's a core principle of crypto, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like this is more about appealing to a certain type of investor, someone who's probably already more aligned with Trump, comfortable with traditional finance. It's not really disrupting anything, is it?
Not really. And I mean, knowing Trump, that's not really surprising, is it?
No, not at all. This feels very calculated, working within the system, not against it.
Totally. And it all circles back to that token, that WLFI token.
So the WLFI token, let's talk about that.
So it's being marketed as a governance token?
Okay, so that means that if you hold this token, you get a say in how the platform is run. But if the majority of those holders are already part of this, like we said, this very specific, likely already aligned group,
then the idea of truly decentralized governance, that goes out the window. It's not really a community-driven platform at that point.
So is it even really DeFi then? Or is this something else entirely? It really makes you think about how this whole thing kind of clashes with that image of crypto being this open space for everyone,
Yeah.
And speaking of clashes, how does this whole Trump loves crypto thing square with all the stuff he said about the SEC? He has been very vocal in his criticism of their approach to crypto, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, he called them hostile. Straight up, yeah. He even said, and I'm quoting here, that U.S. crypto startups would be living in hell if he wasn't elected.
Wow, okay, living in hell, that's a pretty strong statement, even for him.
Right.
But it does seem like he's tapping into something that a lot of people in the crypto world feel, which is that the SEC is holding back innovation. It's like they're trying to control this new thing with these old rules,
Definitely. There's a lot of tension there, for sure. And I think it's really interesting how he's trying to position himself as, like, the crypto champion, especially against this backdrop of what he's painting as a hostile regulatory environment.
Yeah, it's a smart move politically. A lot of people are disillusioned with the traditional financial system. So if he can tap into that,
Absolutely.
it makes a lot of sense. It's like a campaign promise almost. Vote for me and I'll unleash the power of crypto. But how much power does he actually have when it comes to, actually changing crypto regulation?
That's the $1 million question. Right. I mean, the president could definitely influence the regulatory agenda. He appoints the heads of these agencies, the SEC included. But it's not as simple as just saying, do this, and it happens.
Right, of course.
You've got existing laws, established processes, and then this whole world of, lawmakers and lobbyists and legal precedents. It's complicated.
So even if Trump wanted to totally overhaul crypto regulations, it wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be quick.
Exactly. It would be a process, a long one.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it's bigger than any one president at this point.
Yeah.
But his stance on this, it shows how crypto is becoming a political issue. It's not just this niche thing anymore.
Right. Everyone's talking about it. And that brings us to another interesting piece of this whole Trump crypto saga.
Okay.
The meme coins. Remember those? After those assassination attempts, we saw those Trump-themed coins. Trump. They went crazy.
Yeah, it was wild. Those prices just shot up.
It's like the market was reacting in real time.
Yeah.
People were placing bets on the outcome, almost.
Right. And it shows how these meme coins, they might seem like a joke, but they're tied to real-world stuff. Sentiment, politics, you name it.
Yeah. But the thing is, the second attempt didn't really move the needle like the first one did. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question. There's this idea of event coin fatigue. The closer we get to the actual election,
Right.
the less impact these smaller events, even crazy ones like this, seem to have.
It's like the difference between like the pregame show and the actual game.
Exactly. And as we get closer to the election, the focus shifts to the bigger picture stuff, right? Actual policies, regulations, not just these like temporary moments.
So it's not just about which coins to buy. It's about understanding the bigger forces at play.
Right.
But even with all that said, these meme coins, they're more than just like a way to make a quick buck, right?
Oh, totally.
They represent something culturally. It's how people are using technology to be part of something bigger, even if it's just a joke online.
It's like a weird form of political expression, you know?
Yeah.
You've got these assets, many of them with no real value, becoming symbols, rallying points for online communities.
It's fascinating.
It is. It's about belonging, picking a side. And in a world dominated by social media, it makes sense that these digital tokens are part of that.
Right. So maybe don't bet your life savings on Trump coin or whatever.
Definitely not financial advice.
But it makes you think technology is changing everything, even how we think about politics and identity and all of that.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning.
So this is a lot to take in. For the average person, for our listeners who are just trying to make sense of all this, where do we even begin? It's a lot to wrap your head around, right?
It really is.
Meme coins, DeFi with velvet ropes, assassination attempts.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Where does the average person even start with all of this?
That's the question, isn't it? And the important thing to remember is that this isn't just about Trump.
Right.
It's not even just about crypto, really, this whole thing. It's like we're seeing a much bigger shift happening right in front of us.
Okay, what do you mean?
Technology, it's changing everything. And I'm talking about blockchain, crypto, all of it. It's becoming so intertwined with every part of our lives, even politics, whether we're ready for it or not.
So it's not just a matter of picking the right coins or knowing who to vote for.
Exactly. It's deeper than that. This is about how we engage with the entire world around us. Like it or not, these technologies are shaping how we get our information, how we're part of communities, even how we see ourselves politically.
I mean, I get it, but it can feel kind of overwhelming.
It absolutely can. And I think that's why it's more important than ever to, engage with it, not just put your head in the sand. And that starts with thinking critically about everything.
Critically, okay, break that down for me. What does that look like in this context?
So it starts with being informed, obviously. But it's not enough to just passively take in whatever's being thrown at you. Question everything.
Everything?
Yeah. Don't just accept the narrative you're being fed, whether it's coming from politicians, from the media, even from like crypto Twitter, dig deeper, figure out the why behind the what.
You're saying do your own research.
Exactly. And don't just rely on one source, one viewpoint. Find different perspectives, even ones that clash with each other. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle.
It's like we need to be way more discerning about the information we take in, especially with how much of it there is online these days.
100%. And that goes for everything, by the way, not just this stuff. But I think what's really interesting here is that with Trump, with crypto, all of this is giving people more power, more agency.
What do you mean?
Well, we're talking about systems, financial systems.
Yeah.
That used to be controlled by a select few, right? Gatekeepers. Crypto, it challenges that.
That's true. And he is appealing to that sense of wanting something different than the traditional financial system, which, let's be honest, a lot of people see as rigged against them.
Exactly. And whether you agree with his approach or not, it's highlighting that tension. People want more control over their money, their data, their lives, period.
So this really isn't just about a bunch of wealthy investors trying to get richer off the next big thing.
Not at all. It has implications for everyone.
It's something we all need to be paying attention to.
Absolutely. This technology, it's going to keep evolving. It's going to intersect with our lives in ways we probably can't even imagine right now.
So what's the best thing we can do? Stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop asking questions. That's key.
I like it. Well, this has been a fascinating and, yeah, maybe a little overwhelming deep dive into Trump, crypto, and what it all means. A huge thank you to our expert for breaking down all the complexities. And to our listeners, as always, stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.